What is up, everyone? How's it going? Today, I want to talk about a technology that is currently changing the world, but it's also the oldest one we have to power our world, which is solar. Enough sun hits the earth in 1 hour to power the entire world for 1 year. When you think about it, the entire world is already powered off of solar because everything that we use currently for energy at some point had to exist because of the sun. Whether it's tidal or fossil fuels or anything you can think of, biomass, all stems from the sun. Why do I love solar freaking energy? So, number one, renewable. A non-renewable resource will run out. A renewable resource is infinitely replenishable. The more you take from it, there's not less to go around. And more, cover the whole earth if you wanted to. The amount of sun hitting the earth is not going to change. Number two, simple. Solar is pretty simple. You're not having a fuel as an input source, which is really advantageous on a couple different fronts. Simplicity means less maintenance. Yes, there still is O&M contractors that you have to look after the solar, how it's doing, performance-wise, looking at the heat. But as compared to a conventional power plant, there's a lot less moving, a lot less going on. This also helps with predicting your prices. With a conventional power plant, you're having coal, natural gas, even nuclear, you're having an input and you don't really know what the cost of that fuel is in the future. So with solar, you know how much solar is going to cost you to run that site. Nothing. It's very predictable, and this also helps with getting money invested in the project because you know that long-term stability, you know what the cost per producing solar is going to be for that project for its entire lifetime. A lot more predictable. You can have solar anywhere. But solar has the advantage of not having to be in these very remote locations. Solar can be placed distributed. So it can be used as a distributed generating source, which helps it be closer to the consumption. This helps on a couple of different fronts. One is energy, because when you're generating from really far away, while you're shipping that power across those long distances with a conventional centralized power plant, you're losing energy along the way. Stability is huge because when you have a distributed generated source, you can have it close to consumption, which helps with your costs, but also makes you more resilient when paired with distributed storage. This allows for units to be self-powered or to have an island mode. If the grid itself were to go down or part of the grid, you can have a modular system by having solar on your roof with your own battery or solar in your business with your own battery. This way you can be much more resilient and stable. Another reason why I love solar is cost. So in 9 years, we've seen an 80% decrease in cost per watt, down to about an average of 30 cents per watt. It's really encouraging that the new installed capacity on our grid here in the States has been mostly renewable since 2014, as well as globally. So the trend is clear. While the shift to renewable energy won't happen overnight, the shift itself is happening. So here we can see we're going to design a solar system for a commercial building. For the sake of example purposes, we'll have our solar system based off of this building right here. We're going to try to maximize the amount of solar placed on the building. So I'm going to walk you through a process of designing a solar system for a building like that while taking into account what the stakeholders want and what are their interests in it. Do they want the RECs, the renewable energy credits? Do they want to save as much money as possible? It all depends on case-by-case situation, but that's why it's important to really look and see and take the blinders off of the technology and realize, okay, what are the economical, political, societal aspects of putting this solution together and coming to the best solution that makes all the stakeholders involved happy with the outcome. So, moving right into it, we will first design our building here. So we'll first start out with a 50 by 100 design. I ended up making it a little bigger because I thought I would scale this building that's right next door to my apartment with some existing HVAC systems on board. Now, for the sake of this example, we're going to use 77 inches by 33 inches by 1 inch deep panels that are approximately 225 watts per panel. And we are going to place those on Unirack RM10 mounts. These mounts allow for a 10-degree tilt, 19 inches between the panel spacing. Designing this racking system exactly as it is in the spec sheet shown here, this will allow us to mimic exactly to scale how much solar we can fit on a building such as the one we talked about before. So first, we want to set out our boundaries by placing everything on the roof that we know is going to be an obstacle. Existing HVAC, pipes, vents, exits, as well as we need walking spaces to service these HVAC systems. So once the HVAC is in there, the heating and AC, we need to have a 4-foot boundary around each of those for servicing, as well as a 4-foot wide pathway to get to the serviceable parts. And we also need a 4-foot boundary around the perimeter of the structure. This will allow us to walk around, also for fire safety in case someone needs to get up and walk around the site. Once this is in place and we have the mount and solar panel constructed, we can start laying them out. So again, depending on what the client wants, they'll choose different mounts, which ones can fit more. Some would suit better for maximum production per panel. Some would be better suited for just fitting as many panels as possible on the site. So we're just filling in more panels now, keeping in mind those boundaries that we created earlier. And you want to make sure the panels maintain in pretty large clusters. Sometimes with weird angles and weird things on the roof, you can fit a couple more if you shift them around and offset them. However, you want to make sure they're in large clusters for things like weather and they'll be held down well to the roof. Another thing to keep in mind is that all these panels are angled south facing, that way they can capture more sun because we are in the northern hemisphere. So there we go guys, adding in some windows and some other scenery to give it a little more lively look. Hope our client will like this design. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Why do I love solar? The approach is to going to solar and an example of designing a solar system for a commercial site. Love the advantage it can provide to residential, commercial, and utility scale customers. I think it's really exciting and I'm looking forward to help place more solar, more storage, and more sustainable energy and transportation in general on this planet. Maybe this will encourage you or your business to invest in solar or maybe get into a solar ETF or fund. This technology is growing so fast, I just wanted to get more information out on the topic. I really am passionate about it. Thank you so much for checking in guys. I will see you next time.